This time it'll be between Greenfield and Bradford, not necessarily rotating as tightly as the other storm, but it is at the very least showing potential for the damaging straight line wind potential there. So again, I'm going to keep getting the warning there. I know the warning's there. I'm going to go ahead and turn off some of these polygons so we get a better scan of some of the particular data. Chief Meteorologist Joe Barnes has just joined us, and he's going to be taking over, and I will be driving in the background here shortly.
Good work, Mo, everybody. I'm back on the wireless, too. We still have what the National Weather Service is calling a confirmed tornado. It does not look as impressive as it did a little bit earlier. We definitely had a lot of rotation with this storm as it moved through the Sheridan area. Mo, did they say why they confirmed it? I was looking at the CC drop, and I really didn't see anything on that.
They had the tornado debris signature, and then I believe the sun was confirming the potential tornado significant damage to. Okay, so we do have significant damage now to the Rutherford Fire Station. So that is that area.
All right, well, let's zoom this. Okay, let's zoom this out here a little bit, Mo, and let's kind of see if we can find the latest potential rotation with this storm. It looks a lot better now than it did about 20 minutes ago. Let's kind of zoom this out here a little bit, get a little bit of a bigger picture. All right, so there's our new storm that we're going to be keeping an eye on. Let's go back here about 30 minutes, Mo, on this, and then we'll take a look at that as the storm did move into the Sheridan area. We'll see if we can get a closer look at that when it started to rotate there in northwestern Gibson County. Right about there, Mo. Let's get a closer look at that. This is when we were most concerned with this storm. This is when we think it did produce a tornado somewhere, dropped down near Rutherford, and then it did move up to the northeast. So Kenton, that's when we really started to see that rotation with that storm in Kenton. All right, let's kind of zoom it out here a little bit, Mo, and track this storm. Let's put it in. All right, is that a new severe thunderstorm warning, right, for this storm? Or is that the original one? All right, so yeah, new severe thunderstorm warning. It does not look like a tornado warning. All right, let's zoom this out here, Mo, for a second. You can see some of the communities. So Greenfield, Gleason, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. The second one is not showing much for rotation yet, but you saw how fast that previous storm did pop up when it was just kind of a gusty thunderstorm, and then it started to rotate real quick, and we believe that it did produce a tornado as it came on through. So the current tornado warning, we might see that expire because it looks like the rotation's definitely not as intense as it was, but it's moving a little bit further away from the Memphis radar. Mo, are we looking at this? Let's take a look at where the tornado warning is from our new exclusive radar that we're using out of Camden. If we can get a look at that, since that's a little closer to this actual rotation with this storm at the current moment that has now moved to the northeast of Dresden and northeast of Gleason. So, but if you're watching us now, it looks like into Henry County. It looks like this storm is going to be moving into your area. I'm not really seeing much for rotation, which is good.
It was never particularly pronounced to me.
Yeah.
There was obviously something there, but it was never as tiny as we like to see it be. Confirmed dangerous large tornado on the ground, but there has been some damage already reported.
So I'm thinking someone reported damage, or maybe a law enforcement agent saw the tornado on the ground, so we're going to get you more on that. But as far as the radar is concerned, we didn't see anything that radar confirmed this tornado, but it definitely had a lot of rotation as it moves through, and it looks like it's beginning to lose its umph as it's moving up to the northeast, which is good. I think that's going to be a trend here this evening, or this afternoon, as these storms move up to the northeast. They're going to be moving into a less favorable environment. So that's what has us concerned for most of West Tennessee the next few hours, is areas, especially south of Obion County, the atmosphere's got a little bit more energy and a little bit more rotation. So as these additional storms do move on in this afternoon, it's pretty likely we may end up with a couple more tornado warnings, more potential tornado. So, Mo, let's zoom this out here a little bit. Can you give me a 30-minute, let's zoom it out completely. Let's pull up our reflectivity product so I can get a look at that, kind of see where we're sitting on this approaching line of storms. Again, so we're still, according to National Weather Service, they're still going to call that a confirmed storm. But again, we're not seeing anything on radar that suggests there's a tornado, and it looks like there's a new severe thunderstorm warning. They're probably going to issue that to replace the tornado warning that they have right now. All right, let's get a little closer in here, Mo, and let's try to put this in a loop, all right, so I can kind of see where this little cluster of storms is going. So you notice it was real intense as it came through. So we got two different areas of concern right now. We've got this little area north of McKinsey where there still could be a potential spin-up. So if you're watching us in Paris, please stay weather aware till that little cluster passes. It may re-intensify, it may spin up again and produce another tornado. And then we have our second area of concern, which is east of Dyer. That's this one. All right, Mo, let's just kind of pause give me the latest radar image north of Milan. Let's get in on that one. Looks like there could be a little bit of a kink trying to develop just south of Greenfield again. So this is the area we're going to be watching between Bradford and Greenfield. When you see a little notch in a line like this, that's where these southeasterly winds at the surface are trying to come on in and create some rotation in that little area that we're watching. Right now, it doesn't look like much, but again, it could intensify pretty quickly. But this is the area we're going to be watching again near Greenfield for some potential rotation as it may move up towards some of the same areas that were impacted by the last tornadic storm. Mo, you did say the National Weather Service was reporting some damage out of. So what's the latest on that?
The fire station in Rutherford, there was some damage reported there. Let's see here. Let me find here. Some damage. So significant damage to the Rutherford fire station. So that's where they're saying this potential or this damage occurred. So we're going to see about getting some
more information.
More information exactly on that as soon as we can on that for us. Other than that, we do. This all has happened so quick, so I haven't even had a chance to update everything. There is now a tornado watch for it looks like a good part of
West Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I was working on getting that watch pulled up, Mo, on Max 2, but give me a minute. There it is.
There it is.
Let's stay on Max 1 till I can get the stuff built up on Max 2. Mo, what is the timing of this? It's probably out till 3, 4 o'clock is my guess with this watch. See if you can highlight it and get a timing on it.
It's probably out till, here, I'll get the exact value here for you. Give me a second here to find.
All right, so you do notice, though, that the watch does include areas in Mississippi all the way up to southern Kentucky, and we are smack dab right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So likely that we're going to be seeing more of these storms over the next few hours. So if you do have plans this evening, just stay with us here on WBBJ. We're going to be tracking these storms. So this is going to go until 7 p.m., but this will be all over with well before that. Okay, 7 p.m., that includes Nashville. I'm thinking as far as West Tennessee is concerned, our viewing area, storms should be gone between 4 and 5 o'clock. So if you do have plans this evening, just wait till these storms move out. Probably want to stay inside and just continue to monitor the forecast. As Mo has shown you, this has been a pretty explosive atmosphere that's coming on in. Mo, go ahead and pull back up on the radar here real quick. And we'll try to see if we can get some stuff set up on Max 2 as well. But right now, again, as far as rotation with those storms, it looks like we can head over to Max 2 right now real quick. Mo, we'll get some stuff set up again on Max 1. So here's a look at our little storm there. We still have that kink near Greenfield. So right here, that's a little concerning right here for some potential rotation to try to develop. And that could move back into the area where we had the confirmed tornado earlier. So we're going to be watching that little area pretty closely. So our storm that had the confirmed tag right now, we're really not seeing much for rotation on that one currently. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can take a look at the velocity from our new radar out of Camden. So let's see if that'll give us a look inside that. Yeah, not really seeing much for rotation there or with this southern storm. But they can spin up real quickly, as we've seen with the last potential tornado that we did see develop. So, again, right now, not seeing much of a tornado threat. But according to the National Weather Service, the last update we had on that confirmed tornado was that it's out for another 15 minutes. The last update we got was about 18 minutes ago from the National Weather Service, still saying that there was a potential tornado on the ground. So we're going to keep on it. I'm not seeing much for rotation currently, but watch as we go back right there. Look at those bright colors around Rutherford is when they got a little concerned for the storm. But then this is when the rotation started. You notice between China Grove and Sharon, that's where we think there could have been a tornado touching down near the Sheridan area. Kimmery, Greenfield. As far as Dresden, it looks like it lifted before it got to Dresden. Maybe west and south of Dresden could add some impacts of that. But if you know anyone in Sharon, you may want to give them a call just to make sure they're okay. That's where the potential tornado may have came through. Started maybe between Kenton and Rutherford, and then north of China Grove. So Kimmery maybe could have been impacted by that. It looks like it did cross 45 somewhere near Sharon, and that's when we think that it lifted up. You notice the bright colors here really kind of decreased once it got south of Dresden. So there is no longer a tornado on the ground with this storm. We're just waiting on the National Weather Service to decide what they want to do, because they're probably watching this secondary area back here, but I'm really not seeing anything that looks overly impressive right now besides that little kink we were watching, but it looks like the actual rotation inside that storm looks pretty minimal. So we're going to pull back up our latest radar image there. Let me try to clean some of this cluster out of here so we can get a good look at it. So, all right, so it doesn't look overly impressive. Let me see how many lightning strikes are showing up with this. Sometimes when you see lightning intensifying in a short period of time, that's a sign that there could be a potential for rotation getting started. So right there. So we'll watch this little area. I'll circle it for you one more time. East of Greenfield, this is where we could be dealing with some potential rotation, although if we look at it in the velocity, it's pretty blank. So I think we're going to be good here in the next few minutes. I think the National Weather Service is going to pull off this tornado warning, and then we should be able to try to get with some of the folks in Sharon. All right, let's get back over to Max 1 real quick. Mo's going to take us on a quick little tour. All right, so pull me back up here on the weather wall. So here's the situation with Mo. We've got Mo showing you this big kind of view out. So here's our line. Here's our most intense storm. But if you notice back to the north and west of Covington, here's more storms that are going to be coming on in. So this is the line that it moves through. Some of these may intensify just like this storm did, as this is a pretty juicy atmosphere we're watching in and around Jackson, Bolivar. This area here really hasn't, you notice there's a lot of storm energy as Mo's showing you here. So storm energy plus a little bit of rotation. So if you're watching us east of this line, you know, if you're in Crockett County, Madison County, Carroll County, Henderson County, Chester County, you need to be watching this line as it comes through. This storm came up pretty quickly. That did move through the Dyer area. Trenton got hit with some pretty heavy rain as it is moving off. So it looks like, Mo, did they drop the confirmed tag, but they did leave the tornado warning, it looks like, on our storm?
I can't show this on air, but you can come take this as some significant damage out of Rutherford. There's your confirmation.
All right, so we're going to get you some of that damage pulled up out of Rutherford. But this right here is now, is this with the new storm, Mo, that we were watching, that little kink, or is this a continuation?
This was from the original one that originally prompted the warning in the first place, yes.
All right, so we're having a continuation of the other one. It's still out till 12:30, I believe. I think what they just did was they just took off the confirmed tag because, again, it did not look confirmed anymore. Is this still out till 12:30, Mo, then?
Let's see here. So we continue the tornado warning till see what the new information is here. Let's see.
All right, while Mo looks that up, you notice this line that's still got to come through. So as these storms do move on, we're probably thinking Jackson sometime between around close to 3 o'clock. So when we're thinking our threat, it could be a little earlier. Remember, this whole line showed up a couple hours earlier. We were thinking it was going to be 1 to 5 would be our main concern, but this one showed up around 11 o'clock as it moved into West Tennessee.
Yeah,
so we may be closer to 2 o'clock in Jackson. All right, so they kept it out till 12:30, as you see there. So that's about another 10 minutes. So we're going to stick with you here for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to step off here for a minute, and then Mo, can you see if you can maybe get some of that damage video or images built into the system?
Yeah.
Let's head back over to Max 2 while Mo works on Max 1 here real quick. We'll again come back and take a look at the velocity that we believe there was a tornado that did touch down near Greenfield as this storm line did come through. So here's a look at that. Let's see, I'm going to take a look at it with our exclusive radar out of Camden only and see what it showed. I mean, it's a little a ways away, but let's see what it picked up as this storm went through Rutherford there. and then moved up to the northeast. It definitely, just like the other radar, showed it weakening. It's a little far away, so we'll go ahead and pull back up all of our radar network and take another look at that as it came through. So you notice that rotation near Dresden, Sharon. This is when we believe there was a confirmed tornado. It did touch down between Sharon, Dresden, near the Rutherford area. Again, so if you know anyone there, please call them, make sure they're okay. Right now, this is our most intense part of this storm near Cedar Grove. I'm going to circle that for you. So that's where our little concern is right now for that storm. But right now, it just looks like gusty winds. There could have been a little rotation still south of Dresden, but that's the section of the storm that did produce the tornado, we think, earlier. So that one is going to be tracking to the northeast. Let's see if there's some communities northeast of Cedar Grove. So Foundry Hill, Whitlock, Puryear, this could be coming your way. So again, not expecting a tornado right now with it, but looks like some gusty winds on the way. We'll go ahead and kind of draw our little timeline here for this. We'll pull that up there so you folks can have an idea. But it's a pretty fast-moving storm as it comes on through. So we're thinking in the next 15 minutes it may even be pushing near the northern border with Kentucky. So there's a look at that one. The storm behind it right now. So, all right, so we got a brand new tornado warning just for what's left of this one. So let me highlight that up. So that is out now until 1 o'clock for Henry and Weakley County. According to the National Weather Service, it's a radar-indicated severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. Paris Landing, Cottage Grove, Palmersville, Jones Mill, Foundry Hill, Puryear, Buchanan, India Mill Creek, Osage, Sunnyside, Whitlock, Porter Court, Pine Hill, Big Sandy Unit, Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge is under that. So it's basically northern Henry County that's still left. So this general direction of this storm, we think is going to be tracking to the northeast. So again, it probably stays north of Paris, but it'll be real close. So although if you're watching us from Paris, you are under a tornado warning, but the current thoughts is that we don't see a tornado on the ground, but this storm did have a history of producing a tornado earlier, so that's why they're being extra cautious. So the section that looks at least the most concerning to me is going to be rolling into this area right through here. So this is our chance for a little bit of rotation to develop that could try to spawn another tornado. Again, right now we're not seeing anything on the radar that looks overly exciting. Let's take a look at it since it's getting close to Camden. We ought to be able to get a pretty good look at this now through our new radar that we have exclusive access to broadcast out of Camden. It also is showing more of a wind concern than looking like more of a wind concern with from our new radar than rotation. But if you're watching us in that new tornado warning area, which is this, just a heads up, you do have a tornado warning out. All right, let's head over to Max 1. Here's some of the damage we have from the Rutherford Fire Station in northern Gibson County. As you see here, that looks like tornado damage to me, but obviously we can't confirm that till the National Weather Service gets out there. Usually when you see roofs look like this and you see piles of debris, most likely a lot of this is in different directions laying down. So this was sent in by Jamie Graham, but this is the Rutherford Fire Station. It looks like did take a hit from a tornado as it came on through. Hopefully this is as bad as it got. To me, this looks more like maybe EF1, EF2 worst case scenario damage. But hotfully we don't pick up any stronger tornadoes throughout the night. Mo, are you hearing anything else from the National Weather Service about the damage we're looking at here?
Other than just finally had that visual confirmation that it's happening, that's all I've heard. At this point, I'm trying to communicate with the person that took the picture here to see what other additional information they can provide for me here.
All right, so let's head back over to Max 2 while Mo's working on that. Let's kind of slow this loop down here so we can get a general idea of where these storms are going to be moving. So we had that big one storm come through, the second one near McKinsey. It looks like there's a new storm trying to get going over here near Ripley. So this one's got a few lightning strikes on it. Let's see if I can get a closer look at that storm. So that one right now is near Henning and Ripley. So that one looks like it could be coming to Nutbush, then maybe Alamo Bells, maybe Humboldt if it continues to track to the northeast. So that could be our next potential storm coming on through. It looks like it'll be moving into Haywood and Crockett County here within the next 30 minutes. This little cluster we're watching near Friendship right now.
Trees and power lines down south of Dresden. That's exactly where that rotation went. So
okay.
It might have been lifting at that point.
Yep. So we think that tornado was on the ground from around the it lifted around Dresden, touched down around Rutherford. So
several houses appear to be hit on Summer Road in Dresden. So okay, so yeah, does this sound like something was on the ground, maybe, or at the very least lifting when it went by Dresden or just south of Dresden?
So I'm going to go ahead and go back up and pull up the radar that picked that rotation up the best. So this is right now. So there's a look at where we believe the tornado touched down, right there, probably just north of Rutherford. I'm guessing the fire station may be on the northern side of Rutherford.
Oh, yeah.
And then it looks like this came through Kimmery, and then I'm a little concerned for the folks in Sharon, maybe south of Sharon, could have potentially been hit, and then just south of Dresden, looks like that also. But we think it lifted before it got to Ore Springs. And then at the current moment, it does not look overly tornadic to me, but the National Weather Service is going to keep that tornado warning on just in case, as this has had a history of producing a tornado. Looks like the rotation is going to stay north of Paris, but as far as thunderstorm activity in general, it looks like most of that lightning is sitting also to the north of Paris. So I think you're going to avoid anything too bad in the Paris area, but there is a lot of lightning still up north with this storm as it moves through. So again, we got that tornado warning still in effect. Mo, I'm a little concerned now. We're starting to watch this new one near Ripley.
South of Ripley, yeah.
So that's, I think, our next storm that we're going to be focusing in on. So we'll be talking a little bit about that as it comes on through. So
that one's got more juice to work with, too. It's a little further south into that juice. So that's going to be real close for northern Haywood County. So that's going to be up near Nutbush, up in that community. That's where that's going. It's right near Henning at the moment, and then we'll rapidly be moving to the east.
All right. Again, our storm up to the north, I think, is going to be okay as it moves through Paris. It definitely looks like there's some gusty winds here with this section. But as far as anything tight, tornadic, I'm not seeing it right now. But that doesn't mean you still probably should be in your safe spot just in case this does quickly spin up. But I think you're probably just looking at some gusty straight line winds that are going to come through the Paris area, tracking up. If you know anyone that's out on Kentucky Lake, please tell them to get off of it immediately and come on in. This storm is coming their way as it tracks up to the northeast. But again, not seeing those real bright colors or that tightly wrapped greens and reds that we had earlier. But anytime you get greens and reds close together, basically green is particles that are moving towards the current radar you're looking at. Red is particles that are moving away from the radar. So, all right, so we got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for this cell that will be moving it up into Kentucky. But they are, I guess, going to keep the tornado warning around, at least for now, that was issued by the National Weather Service. Although, again, looks like straight line winds going to be moving right through the Birdsong Marina, maybe staying close to you, maybe a little bit further north, impacting Paris Landing State Park. If you know anyone that's at that area, they're going to get hit with some gusty winds. Paris, this storm is knocking on the door for you. We'll be coming through for the next few minutes. Mo, what do you got on Max 1?
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to cancel that one. Okay, so the one that was going to go till 12:38 just canceled that one, and now the only tornado warning we have now is the one that is essentially in Henry County at this point, and also partially in the far northeastern corner of Weakley County. It's going to make sure they didn't put a new tornado warning on that one, on that cell we were watching near Bradford. But then that one's still, don't get me wrong, that one is still going to be capable of producing straight line winds as well for us. This is a look at Storm Tracker 7 Max Radar. I think you're on Max 1 there, Joel. Are you hitting the button?
Oh,
you're good.
I'm sorry, Mo.
It's okay. I was like, everything's moving on me. So I'm sorry. I've got all kind of things on. Usually we have this all prepared and ready to go, but this all happened pretty quick. So bear with us as we get our bearings here and get the latest information out to you. We are watching additional new storms firing. In fact, you can see it quite well on visible satellite. A line that extends basically from Paris all the way down back towards just south of Ripley, and then that line continues to extend southward down towards just west of Memphis there, and then those storms will have a lot more energy to work with than the ones that have currently produced damage at this point. The one up in northern Gibson County in Rutherford, we didn't think those storms would be the ones that would end up producing damage, and so far that has been not the case. So the ones that are now developing are going to have way more energy and way more shear to work with than the ones up to the north did. So we're certainly going to have to keep a head on the swivel here in terms of the storm threat here over the next couple of hours here.
Yeah, all right. So let's real quick, Mo, see if you can get that tornado watch graphic built up,
Yep.
and then we'll get to that here in a second just to let everyone else know. So here's the big picture. We got this line, these intense storms that did start out near Dyersburg, and then they did track to the northeast, impacting northern Gibson County. Right now it looks like they are moving up through Henry County, and we got a couple more that we're watching back here, a new one near north of Covington. We'll take a look at that. Oops, let me get going to max 2. All right, here we go. All right, so here's our tornado warning out till 1 p.m. Again, looks most likely straight line winds. The worst of this storm is going to stay just north of Paris, but that tornado warning still remains in effect. So looks like we got gusty winds at least heading for you folks in Paris, maybe 40, 50 mile an hour winds. So although you may not get hit with a tornado, please head inside, as these winds do look like they're pretty intense as they're going to be coming on through. Here's our new storm over here near Ripley. This is our next one that we're going to be watching. Right now it's not overly impressive, but it's not going to take long, we think, for this storm to strengthen as it moves more into a more juicy atmosphere. Little bit of rotation right now near Hurricane Hill. Definitely nothing that we need to be overly concerned about, but we'll keep an eye on it, as storms later are going to continue to be a major issue for not only here in our areas up north, but places into Madison County, Carroll County. We're going to be picking up on this line of storms as it comes through a little bit later. All right, so there's kind of our line that's coming on through. If we go back a couple of scans, you notice these storms are going to continue this general direction. That direction this evening and this afternoon is going to be this. It's going to be moving to the northeast. So anytime you see one of these storms, if they're to the southwest of you, they're probably going to be heading your way. So the first storm is moving on out. The second storm we need to worry about is this one near Ripley. So I'm going to draw the general direction that we think this one's going to be moving. So maybe Alamo, Humboldt, maybe into Carroll County if it continues to keep that current direction. So if you're watching us in those areas, just continue to keep an eye on this storm as it comes through. Although right now it's not as strong as the one that came by earlier. But again, it picked up speed pretty quick as it moves through. We'll get another look here at... Well, I'm going to pull up the CC and go back to where we had... CC, this can show us debris detection and see if we get any of that from our new radar out of Camden. So it's actually showing it pretty good, Mo. We missed it on the National Weather Service radar when we couldn't see it. But see that kind of debris drop there near Rutherford?
Yeah, absolutely.
China Grove. So... this is a look at our exclusive radar out of Camden, which can actually look lower into this storm. And it's actually showing you there could even have been some touchdown near Yorkville even before it came through. But it looks like Rutherford, China Grove, and then Greenfield, that could have been some debris that it's actually picking up. So we'll get a look here at a different, let's take a look at the National Weather Service's radar and see if it can see that. So here's coming through... Yorkville, Rutherford. I'm really not seeing this. This is what we were looking at when we were wondering how they confirmed the tornado, because we couldn't see it on. Oh, all right, right there, Mo. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
So, all right. So this right here is this is debris that we're seeing that got lifted. Right. It may even been on the ground here. A couple scans earlier. A
couple scans ago, yeah.
So that's why they confirmed the tornado, is this is what they're picking up. Again, anytime you see an anomaly, like a bright blue area inside all the red, this is likely tornado debris right around 11:30 there south of Cool Springs. So there, let me kind of bring that back out here since we can get a look at that. So, and then it maybe went back down, but right here, this is where we're highly certain that this is, from what I know on radar, that this is actually debris that was being pushed to the south of Sharon. So we go back a couple of scans. You don't really, right there, Kimmery, north of China Grove. That looks like where we had debris, and then it lifted east of Dresden. So let me see what's in that actual community over there. That's probably, yep, you notice close to Rutherford. So right there, we think tornado crossed 45 north of Rutherford.
Wow, yeah.
And stayed just north of China Grove. So I'm assuming that fire station is probably, Mo, a mile or two north of Rutherford. Let's see how far north that actually is of Rutherford. So I'm going to pull up our
to my messenger.
Our ruler tool here, and let's see as far as. So we're 2 miles north of Rutherford, maybe a mile or two. That's where I think that tornado did cross 45. So if you know anyone that lives in the little north of Rutherford, you may want to, excuse me, check in on them. Then it looks like it did leave Gibson County, north of China Grove, right along Toole Pate Levee Road. So Walnut Grove Road, again, just north of Rutherford. I'll go back a couple of scans. So make sure we get in the right spot where I think that did pass through. So maybe North Trenton Street, right there on North Trenton Street, Northern Chapel Road, Creek Road. It looks like their old Rutherford Kenton Road could have been impacted. Tommy Duffy Loop, Walnut Grove Road, Toole Pate Levee Road, Red Hunt Road, and then it moved out of our area, out of Gibson County, and then into Weakley County, impacting Sharon and Dresden. All right, so that's our recap of what we think where that tornado went. All right, so we got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, Mo. They did decide to issue the warning for our newest storm, which is this one. So let's see what the notes are on this. That's out till 1:15, does include out till 1:15, does include Crockett, Dyer County, Haywood, and Lauderdale. So that one's out till 1:15. The verbiage for this one is it's moving to the northeast at 45 miles an hour, 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe some quarter-size hail with this storm as well, and starting to see a little bit more rotation, Mo, with this storm than we saw even 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
so if we go back a couple of scans, look at that. That's why they issued the severe thunderstorm warning with that storm. I'm going to draw a quick loop on this. If it's traveling at 45 miles an hour, let me make sure this is set at 45 on our little tool, which can draw the timing. So we'll put this out here. All right, so let me make sure that that's coming in at 45 on our query tool. All right, so Mo, can you head over to Max 1 and see if you can get your query tool?
Yep.
This one. All right, hold on. There, I got it. It was set at 60. Let me change it back to 45, and we'll get this drawn correctly now. So if this one continues in this direction, there's a look at the potential timing that it could be coming on in. So kind of reset things here a little bit. I'm going to head over to the weather wall, and then I'm going to get started on 2, and then Mo's going to have some stuff for us on 1 here in a second.
While he's doing that, I'll go ahead and I just got this one set here for us, so let's...
All right, give me a second, Mo. We'll get to you in 1 second.
Sure.
All right, so we've got our first storm moving on out and our second one moving on in. You notice the general direction. Gibson County, heads up. Our next severe thunderstorm warnings is actually coming your way. So here's a look at the first one that did come by. This looks like straight line winds now. They have dropped the tornado warning with this storm, but it is still producing some pretty gusty winds. It is out till 1 p.m., this severe thunderstorm warning. Very strong winds, it looks like now moving east of Paris. I don't see any rotation anymore with this one, but there are strong winds coming for Kentucky Lake, maybe up to 60 miles an hour. You know anyone on the lake, please get them off if you can. All right, this is our next storm of concern. See that little kink there in the reflectivity? Starting to see the lightning uptick as well. This is a severe thunderstorm warning out until 1:15. If we do get a tornado, this is probably our next storm with a chance to do that. Real quick, inside, there's the rotation with this storm. Here's the timing as it moves up to the northeast. If it does hit you folks in Humboldt, looking like 1:15 to 1:20. All right, let's switch over to Max 2, or Max 1. Mo's got some stuff pulled up on Max 1. Go ahead, Mo. I'll let you chat. You want to chat about this, Mo?
Many people, because this is going to affect a lot of people. If this system holds together or further strengthens any further than what it has right now, these are some of the communities that are going to be affected by this now rotation just north of Nutbush in northern Haywood County. So we're talking Murray City. This is 1255. Alamo, 101. Brazil at 108. Humboldt, you are in the path of this storm. It's 115. It'll be there 115. Again, it has not produced a tornado at this point. It is rotating strongly, however, and there is a severe thunderstorm warning on it at this point. So right now, we're just going with damaging straight line winds. Trenton, Tennessee, if it holds together, or if this veers to the north a little bit, it'll be more in Trenton's direction at 118. Medina, if it keeps on its current path, then we're talking 123 for the community of Medina. Milan at 127. So these are all very large communities. A lot of folks are in the path of this particular storm. Again, it doesn't look like much right now, but it has been holding together and is rotating rapidly and tightly just to the north of Nutbush, right on the right basically on the border between Haywood County and almost on into Crockett County as well. So again, if you want to be in your, if you have that ready in the back there for the tornado preparation graphic, let's go ahead and get that up so we can get some people some information as soon as possible. So this is what you want to do. If you are, there it is, tornado warning. There it is, tornado warning just issued for those exact communities. You're all now under a tornado warning. So this storm will be arriving in Murray City at 1255, Alamo at 101, Brazil at 108, Humboldt 115 if it holds together, Trenton 118 if it veers to the left a little bit, Medina 123, Milan at 127, Bradford at 130, and Cedar Grove. If it holds together, it'll be arriving at 136. So we now have a new tornado warning for the storm that we're watching that's rotating tightly just north of Nutbush, Tennessee, in northern Haywood County. It's about to cross right into Crockett County right now. So you want to be in, if we can bring that graphic right back up for me, if you could. So you want to be in an interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outdoor as possible. If you've got a basement, that's going to be your best place to be, is in that basement. But you want to put as many walls between you and that tornado as possible. This is not the time to be creating the plan. Hopefully you have already done that and know what you've got to do when this storm arrives. It is moving 50 miles per hour. It is not going to take long to arrive in your location. It's going to be moving quick.
All right, let's head over to Max 2 real quick. The next communities that could be impacted, again, right now we don't see a tornado on the ground, but it could happen at any minute. Looks like Elmer, Maury City, Brim's Corner, Johnson's Grove. So if you hear your community called, and then we'll be crossing 412, Crockett Mills, Nance, and Alamo, all going to be a potential for some tornadic activity. Right now, again, it's just rotating. We don't see anything on the ground, but that could happen quickly as the storm moves up to the northeast. All right, kind of just want to give you the big picture here if you're just joining us, because your tornado sirens are going off, or if you're got that app alert on your phone. Here's our new tornado warning. We had a tornado on the ground earlier near Rutherford, which did impact sections of Sharon and Dresden. That one is moving on out right now. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like there's very little rotation left with this storm, but this one did produce a tornado earlier. This looks like some really strong winds now, moving to the east of Paris, crossing the Kentucky Lake. Here's our new storm, starting to see that general hook developing. What we see there, that little inflow notch, that's where you're getting these southeasterly winds at the surface. Behind it, you're getting these southwesterly winds in the jet stream. That's creating some rotation. There's a lot of rotation in the atmosphere today. The storm energy is moderate, but when you only have moderate storm energy and a lot of rotation, that's what you can get, these little tornadoes that can spark up really quickly with the amount of low-level rotation that we have prevalent in the atmosphere. So there's a little area of rotation. Here's a look at the timing. Humboldt close to 115 if it continues to keep this general direction. Alamo, you're under the path of this. Fruitville, Brazil, Frog Jump, Brim's Corner, Maury City, Elmore, you're first. It's going to be moving through into your area here in about the next 10 minutes. Again, starting to see a little bit more rotation, not enough that I would look at this and say there's a tornado on the ground, but there could be one here real soon as it moves up to the northeast. So it looks like it's about to cross the county line and heading over into Crockett County right now. Center of rotation. Looks like just north of Shaw, so Maury City, Johnson's Grove, Nance, Alamo, Crockett Mills. You probably need to start getting ready to head into your safe spot until this storm passes. Again, because although there may not be a tornado with it right now, it is rotating and very likely that it is going to, well, I'm not saying very likely, but a pretty good chance that it does produce a tornado somewhere into Crockett County, or potentially even into Gibson County as it moves up to the east. We've got a couple more storms we're watching to the southwest. These could be Madison County storm or Henderson County storm, as these ones are now moving closer towards Memphis. So here's the big line here that we're watching. So here's our chance for severe weather. So right along this line, once this main line passes through, your severe weather threat's going to be done. But we've definitely got more time to deal with this. Mo, can you pull up the tornado watch real quick, just to let everybody know who is under a tornado watch? When Mo gets this up on Max 1, go ahead and take it, and we'll show you where the tornado watch is. But this line is coming on through here over the next couple of hours, and we've seen multiple little areas of potential rotation that popped up really quickly with a couple of these storms. So, again, we're watching them as far south as Memphis. Here's our tornado warn storm. Mo, do you got that watch pulled up on Max 1? We can go ahead and
it's coming. 1 second.
Take a look at that when Mo gets that pulled up so everyone knows who is under that tornado watch here.
Essentially, the entire area, all of West Tennessee, is currently under a tornado watch.
All right.
The only county not is Lake County at this point. But
all right, so everyone is under this tornado watch that's out till 7 p.m. as these storms do move through. I think they're probably out of our viewing area by 5 o'clock, maybe 6. But this could continue to be an issue. If you travel into Nashville, get out immediately. If you're going to be heading east, you do not want to wait till this line of storms catches you in Jackson, because this could continue to be a problem for Nashville even later on tonight. I think if you're heading to Memphis, hold off. You don't want to head westward till after this line passes, which will probably be through Jackson between 3, 4 o'clock. So you're just going to want to stay put. Continue to keep it here on WBBJ as we are tracking these storms. All right, let's head back over to Max 2 real quick. So there's a look at our rotation with this storm between Shaw there, and it looks like Elmer, Maury City. If you're watching us there, please start to get into your safe spot. Again, we don't have confirmation there's a tornado on the ground here with this storm yet, but it's starting to, every scan we get looks a little bit more impressive than the other. So there's a look at our new scan as it gets close to Maury City. Again, I do not see, by looking at this, saying tornado on the ground, danger is imminent. But we may get the following scan may show you to us that it looks like there's a tornado on the ground, so you don't want to mess around. There's a lot of rotation. These storms have been popping up really quickly here. But there's a look at our storm. We don't quite see as well-defined notch right now as we did 5 minutes ago, which is good, but that doesn't mean the storm's over or it's going to weaken or not produce a tornado. But we do have a tornado warning out for this little cell. Again, radar confirmation right now as it will be moving over into Crockett County, Gibson County in the next 30, 45 minutes. So we'll try to get a new... here's the general timing that we were expecting earlier. We'll get a new one of these drawn up here in a minute as it will be heading into Gibson County for sure. We're going to stick with this, though, till we get another radar image update. I want to be right on top of that when it pops up so we can get a good look at it. And then we'll head over to Mo on Max 1. Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, a new track on Max 1. Let's see here. Here's some of the times of arrival from we're tracking the exact area where if a tornado is going to be produced, where it's going to produce it, or likely to produce that tornado. It's going to be moving into Maury City at 12:56. So that's going to be here in about 5 minutes or so. And then Alamo, if it holds together, it'll be 102. Brazil at 110. Humboldt, if it holds together, 117. 120 in Trenton. Again, it's if it veers to the north a little bit. I think it's probably going to be more in that Medina path. And we just got a new scan here, so just want to go ahead and update this one more time here for you. I just want to give you the most recent and most up-to-date timing I could possibly give you on this particular part of the cell, which again is continues to rotate tightly here at the moment. Okay, so 102 in Alamo, 109 Brazil, Humboldt at 116, Community of Dyer at 121, Milan at 128, Bradford. If it holds together, it'll be about 131 when that this particular rotation shows up. And again, right now that's if it veers very far to the left there. So I think probably Alamo, Humboldt, Milan, Brazil. That's probably closer to the reality here as to where the storm ultimately might end up tracking. As these storms do tighten up, they do tend to veer and they don't just go in a perfectly straight line. So that's why I'm kind of giving you it's kind of in a fan, in the shape of a fan there to kind of give us some leeway as the how far north or south that cell ultimately ends up. But again, it is looking pretty pronounced here, at least on reflectivity. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest on velocity here, and we'll take a look at relative mean velocity, which is actually looking fairly tight there. It's, the RFD could be a little stronger, or real flank downdrift could be a little stronger on it. But
right there that Mo's talking about, that's where the moisture, those southeasterly winds at the surface being sucked in, plus behind it, we're getting winds coming in at a different direction. So it's the winds coming in at the surface this way, a little higher up in the atmosphere here, creating that rotation. And again, right now it just looks to me like a lot of mid-level rotation. We're not seeing anything that screams tornado on the ground yet, but we're going to take a closer look at it. All right, let's switch back over to Max 2, give you the latest on that. So here's our line. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that produced a tornado, we believe, earlier near Rutherford and lifted as it passed just south of Dresden. We also have a line coming on in, extending through Covington, but let me get over to... Sorry, Mo, I'm used to playing with Max 1. So, all right, so here's our severe thunderstorm warning. That's out until 1 p.m. A lot of gusty winds, though, still. This looks like 60-mile-an-hour winds heading east of Paris, crossing the Kentucky Lake area. Hopefully, you know nobody that's on that lake. Looks like the worst of it stays north of Big Sandy. But here's our tornado warning. You can kind of see that. Remember that classic hook echo? Before we had the ability to look into these storms and use the velocity product, the one that shows you the reds and greens, this is what you looked for on a tornado. You looked for that little tail that comes on down here, and that little inflow notch. So we're starting to see that developing with this storm. So it's trying to rotate, but with new radar technology, we can now look inside these storms and see the reds and the greens to give us a better view as if it's actually rotating down near the surface or if it's rotating in the middle sections of the storm, which is producing that hook that you did see. But here's a look at the timing. Looks like 1:15, 1:20 heading into Humboldt if this continues to rotate. Brazil, I like what I'm seeing right now on the velocity for a tornado warning. It's not overly organized. I don't see how these bright colors coming together, suggesting to me that there is a tornado on the ground. So I'm thinking the rotation with this storm is more in the middle of the sections of the storm instead of the lower section. But let's zoom this out. So here's what they were looking at. You notice near Nutbush, you see those brighter colors. It actually looked more impressive. And as it's moving now towards Alamo, I'm not seeing those bright colors. This is great news for you folks in Alamo right now. That doesn't mean in 5 minutes it's not going to look the same. But right now it looks like this storm is maybe trying to lose a little bit of its rotation as it comes on through. But this storm is going to impact you folks in Humboldt and Milan. It may not be producing a tornado, but it looks like it's at least got some 40, 50 potential mile-an-hour winds as it moves on through. And there's more storms developing behind this line down near Covington. These could be the storms that impact places like Madison County or Carroll County maybe, or even Henderson County a little bit later, maybe between 2 and 3 o'clock as they get going and move on through. So if you're west of this line, your severe weather threat is pretty much over if you're watching us, let's say, over into Lake County. But most of West Tennessee is still under the threat as this line of storms is going to move on through here over the next couple of hours. Mo, do you want to pull up that picture again of the damage that we have in Rutherford real quick?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get that.
We can show the folks what we believe is confirmed tornado damage that did hit the fire department in Rutherford, which from what I've seen on radar, I'm going to assume it's a little north of town because that's where it looked like the main rotation as it passed over on 45. Do we get that pulled up on Max 1, yep. Mo? Let's show you that damage that we had in Rutherford. So to me, this looks like tornado damage. It could have been straight line winds, but when you notice a pile like this, kind of wrapped around the whole roof gone, kind of shredded. Usually if you get straight line wind damage, it looks a little different in this, in my opinion. But National Weather Service is going to go out and check out the situation. We also saw some debris being detected on our debris tracker that went from right through the Rutherford area. Again, we think this storm may have impacted areas south of Sheridan as well. We're waiting on some confirmation on that. All right, one more time. Let's head back to Max 2 here real quick, and let's get a look at our storm. And then we'll head over to Mo for some analysis of this storm here in about 1 minute. But I really like what I'm seeing currently.
Radar Omega, we've got
does not look very good right now for rotation. Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on Radar Omega, and I'm seeing some pretty big storm chasers in the area. Brendan Kopek's got a live stream right now, so we are watching the bases of these storms. I don't see a wall cloud on this at the moment, but I am watching some feeds here. I'm not unable to show you on air, but I can tell you we are watching. We've got several eyes on this on the ground, thankfully, so we're going to know real quick if this thing is producing a tornado, and we'll have the confirmation immediately because we do have a lot of chasers out right now in Crockett County specifically now that are watching that storm.
Okay, Mo, thanks for keeping an eye on that. Anything new from the National Weather Service, Mo? You let me know, and we'll let people know. All right, so this is actually a decent storm for storm spotters and chasers because you notice you want to be south of the storm looking up at it. Unfortunately, though, chasing in Tennessee, it's just not a great idea, even for experts, because our roads aren't like Oklahoma roads. Oklahoma roads all go west and east, north and south. There's an escape route everywhere you go. It's flat. You can see. Our roads do not do that. They curve around. They go in directions. Often you don't know where they're going. If it's a new road, plus on top of it, you've got trees to deal with. So we don't recommend going out trying to storm spot these storms. Even as a professional chaser, I would advise them against it. Or if they do, stay well away from these storms and be very careful, because these are the type of storms that, do have the potential of turning to the right real quick if they do produce a tornado. Everything is going to go northeasterly, but if a tornado develops, it's going to turn more to the east. So, again, I think if the tornado tracks are going to be almost due west to east, but the general direction of these storms are going to be moving to the northeast. They're going to be moving to the northeast from the southwest. All right, really strong winds right now moving over the Kentucky Lake area. No rotation with that section. Here's our tornado-warned storm. Again, right now it's not an overly impressive storm, but it's moving into an atmosphere which is supercharged. So we could see this thing turn into a tornado real quickly, but I really like what I'm seeing on the velocity right now. I do not see much for rotation, anything overly concerning tight. If there is some rotation, it's probably right here, still to the west of Alamo. We may even see them cancel this tornado warning unless they get something different on one of these next couple of scans, because every scan, there's a new one. Every scan I've seen over the last few minutes has actually showed this storm actually losing some of its rotation. It was pretty nasty near Nutbush. That's why they issued the tornado warning. But as it's approaching Alamo, you notice the colors aren't as bright. It's hard to find a center of rotation with that cell. It's even starting to lose that little hook structure we talked about earlier. It just looks like a general thunderstorm heading for Alamo. And you folks in Humboldt, Trenton, Milan, just stay weather aware till this storm passes. Stay with us here. As long as there's a tornado warning, we're going to continue to stay on this. Although, again, we don't believe there is a tornado right now. That doesn't mean the threat won't increase rapidly in the next few minutes. We also have got some storms we're watching from Covington down through Memphis as well. Again, here's our big picture before we get over to Mo for a little bit more analysis. There's our line of concern extending from Kentucky Lake, north of Madison County, down through Memphis. When this line passes, the severe weather threat is going to be wrapping on up. But we've still got at least another 3-4 hours to go before this moves out of our viewing area. Mo?
Okay, so I am still watching the cameras. I'm not really seeing much rotation at this point. This looks more like a shelf cloud than
Let's head over to Max 1, please.
Than a wall cloud at this point. But we are watching this. The emergency management over in Crockett County has a tower camera as well, and they are looking directly at it at the moment. And again, this is what we've got that we're viewing right now. And again, it looks more like maybe an outflow right now than it is a wall cloud at this point. And that's a good thing. We don't want to see a wall cloud, and we certainly don't want to see rotation coming down towards the ground. It does not appear that it's happening at the moment, but But again, if it does happen, we're going to know pretty quick here, as this camera does have an excellent view at that storm right now. That's just to the north of Alamo. That's going to be moving into southwestern Gibson County. That's going to affect a lot of communities. Here's a new update on this particular track. So I'm going to update this real quick for you from Alamo, or the notch, if you would. We'll go ahead and update that for you here. Move this up, and we'll update your view here. And I'll go ahead and turn off visible satellite here so you can have a better view of this. There we go. And then, so we're going to track this out, and this is some new times of arrival for you. So Brazil is pretty much by 111, if it holds together. Again, that part should stay to your south. It looks like Humboldt about 115, 120 in Trenton, 124 in Medina, Milan at 127 if it holds together here. And again, Bradford, if it ends up on the northern side of that track, it'll be about 131. So I'm thinking probably more like Milan or Medina is probably where we're looking in terms of the track. So 124 Medina, and then maybe McLemoresville there, 141. So we'll certainly keep a close eye on that. And again, we're not seeing this tighten up any, and again, we're not looking. I don't think I'm seeing a wall cloud here. Maybe some lowering there, but we're not really seeing it tighten up, and hopefully we don't. But we do. We want to give you as much time as possible to prepare should that happen.
All right, real quick, let's head back over to Max 2. I do want to show you the tornado watch, just in case. Here is a look at that watch. Mo, I'm sorry I keep hitting that Max 1 button on you, buddy. Here's a look at our tornado watch. It's out till 7 p.m. Does include all of West Tennessee, pretty much, besides Lake County. So we've got a chance for these storms here to continue this evening. It is warm. How about 70 degrees, folks? 70 degrees in December. That's why we're seeing this. This is unprecedented to get temperatures this high, a dew point into the mid-60s. This is stuff we see in the spring and summer. This is not supposed to happen in the winter, but it does. Remember, 2 years ago, we had the Dresden tornado. Dresden got clipped by this, what we think was a tornado, about an hour ago. So this is back-to-back years, right around December 9th, December 10th, December 11th, where we've had tornadoes on the ground. Not supposed to be that way in December, but that's the way things look like they're turning to for us here in West Tennessee right now. So you need to stay weather aware all year round. We could get tornadoes any month of the year here. That's the way our atmosphere works. So the severe thunderstorm warning's done for Henry County. Really strong winds, though, moving over across Kentucky Lake. Here's our storm of the moment. This is our tornado warned storm. I do not see anything to me that looks like there's a tornado on the ground, but check this out. All right, this is a new image that we're looking at from our exclusive radar out of Camden. We're the only ones in West Tennessee that have access to broadcast this radar. Comes in out of Camden. It's starting to get a decent look at this storm right now. It can look deeper into this, some of this area, which is a little far away from the Memphis radar. It gives us a better look. So here's a look at the timing. If this continues to rotate, Humboldt between 115, 120, Medina closer to 130. So there is a look at that. So there, not a lot, but there is a little rotation moving into the Alamo area right now. We probably are going to see the National Weather Service cancel the tornado warning and just issue a severe thunderstorm warning, but we'll see. Again, a little bit of rotation, not enough, in my opinion, to have it. All right, so they did, Mo. It looks like they did cancel the tornado warning.
Tornado warning, yeah.
But this is still a severe thunderstorm warned storm as we're watching this little cell come through. So this is great news. Maybe this area this far north doesn't have as much rotation as areas to the south. That's what we thought yesterday. And we thought that the greatest threat for these rotating storms is going to be areas Jackson southward. But we've actually seen one tornado, we believe, earlier near Rutherford up to the north. So although this one right now isn't rotating, that doesn't mean it won't. When it begins to move into the same areas, maybe there's something going on in the atmosphere here near Greenfield, Dresden, that is going to start to get this thing rotating again as it moves through. So although right now may just be a severe thunderstorm warning, it could intensify. And obviously if it does become a tornado warning, we'll cover it in its entirety here at WBBJ. So there's our big line as it's coming out through. Mo, have you checked with the National Weather Service in the last few minutes?
No, let me go ahead and do
what they have. They have anything to say about the damage? More damage being reported?
Let's see here. I did see here. I had a message. See, there was some houses damaged in Dresden, and power outages with some downed trees per EMA director. So far, no injuries have been reported, and that's always wonderful news, although it does sometimes take a little time for those reports to filter in. But right now, there has been no injuries reported, but there has been some damage around Dresden. Power outages are being reported along with some downed trees. No damage reported so far, at least in Obion County, on the Kenton side of Obion County, because that's really close to where that tornado did damage in Rutherford and northern Gibson County earlier. But as of right now, we don't have any damage to report. It looks like a volunteer fire station number 9, it looks like, was the one that was hit in northern Gibson County.
But will you get onto maps and see where that station is compared to Rutherford? Because I think it was just north of Rutherford, because that's where I'm seeing.
Yes, absolutely. Let me.
So there's a look at the damage. We'll go back here. I want to show you a look from our radar, our exclusive radar that we have rights to out of Camden, to show you this storm as it did move through a little over an hour ago now. It moved through Greenfield. So there's a look at it. We'll take a different view at this radar, see if we can get down inside that storm. All right, I'm going to have to go back more. It was a little over an hour ago, so I'm going to have to go back at least 2 hours to pull this up. But right there, this was around 11:45. So we think this touched down earlier than that. Right around probably somewhere between 11:20, just north of 104. We think we're going to get a touchdown near Yorkville. And then we believe right through north of Rutherford.
Okay, so this is going to be on the northern side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been just off near, or just east of the Rutherford Community Center. Places like that, south of.
What are some of the cross streets, Mo?
Let's see here. Let's go in tight here. Highway, or it looks like Trenton Street.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Basically right next to Cummings Creek. That's where that would have happened. That's the only road I see there.
Is it north or south of McKnight? McKnight runs west to east, Mo. It connects with Trenton Street. It goes just west of East Main.
Looks like it is. I'm on Google.
So we'll see, because that's where I think the tornado crossed. I'm going to pull up the our tracker, our debris tracker here, and we'll see that as it came through. Let me go back a couple hours. So it looks like the debris tracker is showing right through just north of Rutherford. See if I can get a different view of that. Give me a second. Change radar images. All right, so we had right through.
It's pretty close to Centennial Bank up there. That's right up the street from that. And, of course, the Dollar General there off of Highway 5 North Trenton Street is just north of that as well.
Trying to get the best view where we could see that debris showing up. I had it pretty well earlier. I'm just trying to figure out which radar that I was using that picked that up. All right, so, again, that was our recap of what happened in Rutherford. So we got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Neither one of these is rotating or producing what we think is a tornado, but let's give you a quick recap here on the storm. So our storm up into Henry County, no longer severe warned for us. It is, though, when it crosses the Tennessee River and heads over into northern sections of Middle Tennessee. All right, that one is the one that produced a tornado earlier, had some really good gusty winds. Here's our storm of the moment. Right now, a severe thunderstorm warning in and around the Brazil area. Looks like this is heading for Trenton. Right now, it does not look to be rotating much, but it will continue to track up to the northeast. So here is a look at what there would be some rotation near Alamo. Really doesn't look overly impressive to me. So the good news is this one will not be producing a tornado in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. But it's going to take several more radar scans if it's going to charge back up and try to rotate. Here's another view of that rotation. Again, I'm not overly impressed with this area. But as it moves up, it looks like Humboldt, you are going to get some gusty winds in Humboldt. Maybe 40 miles an hour, maybe 50, worst case scenario. But it looks like there's some gusty winds heading for Humboldt areas north of Humboldt 45 through Trenton. This is where this storm is going to be impacting, again, as a gusty windstorm is what we currently see with this cell. Looks like the worst of it is going to stay Humboldt northward. I think if you're south of Humboldt, places like Three-Way, I think this section stays just north of you, will not impact us in Jackson. But there's a new one that we're watching west of Brownsville. This storm did move through Covington, and it is moving off to the east right now. So this one could try to rotate and become an issue for us here in Jackson as well. So here's the big picture showing you that line of storms extending from northern Kentucky, central northern Kentucky, all the way down southwest of Memphis. So we've still got several of these cells which are going to come on through and try to rotate. But if you're just joining us now, there are no tornado warnings out currently. And neither one of these storms is rotating enough that we think there is going to be a tornado warning issued in the next 15 minutes or so. But that may change again as these storms have had a history of sparking up real quick. Mo, you got a little bit of analysis? Let's head over to Max 1 real quick.
Come over to Max 1 and we'll take a look at exactly what's going on right now. So this is a more wide view of what's going on. So we've still got low pressure. That's actually east of Little Rock now, and that's got the cold front itself. It's going to quickly sweep to the east and then northeast across West Tennessee. And, of course, once that cold front, well, even before the cold front goes by, once we get this prefrontal trough, which is what these storms are focused on right now, gets to the east. Once it's east of you, you're done for the night. And I think most of us, so if not all of us, will be done with this by about 5 o'clock tonight, it looks like. But it is going to take a little longer to get the tail end of this out of here, and that's for our westernmost county. So we're talking McNairy, Hardin counties.
Well, we got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. If you want to
for the exact same, so we'll go ahead and go in tight here. We'll take a real quick look at that.
Yep. So we got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that is out until 2 o'clock. Carroll, Crockett, Gibson, Weakley County. Not a tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning for this storm as it moves up to the northeast. Okay. So some of the communities in that, 60-mile-an-hour winds, nickel-size hail. Humboldt, you're in that. Milan, McKenzie, Trenton, Huntington, Gleason, Bradford, Atwood, Gibson. So just a handful of places that are going to be impacted by this strong thunderstorm, which we believe right now is not going to produce a tornado, but that could change here in the next few minutes. Mo, what you got?
Okay, so here's the new track. So I just tracked that new, the area that is rotating that they're specifically warning for. So again, Humboldt, it's pretty much knocking on the door. It's going to be there in about 5 minutes on the northern side of town there. Gibson, the community of Gibson, we've got 122. Milan, if it holds together, it would be 129 when this arrives. The community of Gann, no stranger to damage from storms and tornadoes. The community of Gann, 134. Cedar Grove, we've got 139. We've got McLemoresville at 143. McKenzie, 152, assuming it holds together that far. And again, Henry moving 201 if it holds together. Again, these things are moving at roughly about 45 to 50 miles per hour. The storms themselves are. And, of course, we're going to keep our fingers crossed and hope that they don't produce a tornado. But any one of these storms, all they have to do is tap into that tremendous amount of shear that is overabundant across West Tennessee.
All right, let's get a look at Max 2 real quick, Mo, kind of show you where the situation is shaping up for Humboldt right now. So, all right, so there's Humboldt. Here's the storm coming on in. There's an inflow notch. You're going to get breezy southeasterly winds here. The winds are going to change direction as the system moves through and the storm passes by. The winds will start to come out of the west. This is the area where the storm is trying to rotate. We're not really seeing anything when we look deep inside the storm to show that it is going to produce a tornado, or it's trying. But northwest of Humboldt, this is the area of rotation with this little cell. What we're looking at now is the reflectivity. What it does is the radar sends out beams, and then it determines particles that come back. It doesn't determine particle direction, but it's saying this is either heavy rain or potential small hail that it's seeing west of Fruitland. So you may get some hail if you're north of Humboldt, between Humboldt and probably Fruitland. This is probably our hail area of concern, and this is probably where our strongest winds are going to be as this system moves through. So we'll stay with this one more scan, and we'll see what we get. But, again, just a severe thunderstorm warning. I know it's still a big storm, but there are no tornado warnings out right now, as this storm that is moving just to the north of Humboldt currently has very little rotation compared to where it did a little bit earlier. We'll get back to that scan here. I kind of want to pull up the velocity stuff here. So there's a big picture showing you where that storm is as it's moving just north of Humboldt right now. There's a lot of lightning, so this could be a sign that the storm is trying to intensify. But when we look inside it, I just don't see, you don't see any of them red. So it's pretty much this entire storm is moving in the same direction up to the northeast. Again, green being towards the radar. We're using our Camden radar right now to look at this storm as it's moving towards the radar. You don't see anything moving away. So if there was rotation, you would see some areas of red in here with the green. And we're not seeing that. We're just seeing pretty much all green right now with this storm. So that's why they're classifying it as a severe thunderstorm warning and not a tornado warning. So, again, there is that storm. Again, it's trying to rotate. You can see that by that little inflow notch. But what we don't see is anything confirming that it actually is. So we like it when they try and they don't succeed. And that appears to be the case with that storm right now. Do want to kind of zoom things out here. We'll give you the big picture. We're watching several cells. We're watching this one and a brand new one now east of Covington. This is that other storm we've been talking about. We're going to get back down to that one. This is likely to be our next severe thunderstorm warning that is going to try to rotate. So here's our first one. This is the one we believe produced a tornado near Rutherford. That's moving on out. Still some gusty winds with that storm. Here's our storm of the moment is this one south of Trenton, north of Humboldt. Looks like, again, it's trying to rotate just north of Humboldt as it'll slide up to the northeast. Not seeing anything overly concerning on the velocity product, but a lot of lightning. This storm is strengthening. It may try to produce a tornado when it moves east of 45. So if you're watching us, New Enterprise, Atwood, Milan, just keep an eye on it over the next 15 minutes as it moves on through. All right, so our third storm is this one, just developing now to the west of Brownsville. We'll get back to that one here right now. I want to take a look at that one. So this storm right now is beginning to intensify. Likely this is our next severe thunderstorm warning. Will it produce a tornado? It could. But if it follows the same general story as the second storm we had, it will not. So we'll see how the atmosphere shapes up a little bit further south. Places like Brownsville, Bell's likely to be impacted by this. This one will impact northern sections of Madison County. It's probably about 45 minutes out before it does, but I'm thinking 2 to 3, maybe 3:30 is our time frame in Jackson to be impacted by these storms as they come on through. You notice a little inflow notch on this one. So each one of these little individual cells is trying to rotate. This could potentially be a tornado warning if we start to see it strengthen a little bit. Back to our storm here. Also, you notice that little notch. What's going on? This storm is sucking the winds out of the southeast into the storm. Behind it, you're getting these winds coming in out of the northwest. So behind the storm, the winds are in this direction. Up front, they're out of the southeast. That's what creates that rotation, and that's what creates tornadoes. And it's easy to happen when you have individual cells. When you have one big long line, it's difficult for that to take place. But you notice we've got these little individual storms, which is, if this was all one big line, it wouldn't have the opportunity to draw up these northwesterly winds and southeasterly winds to create that rotation. So that's why we prefer a line of storms, because often when you just get the line, you just get straight line winds. But things are setting up here the next few hours that several of these are going to try to rotate, and we may end up with a couple more tornado warnings in the next few hours. Mo, what, are you seeing anything new with that new storm? I'm going to go set some velocity products and take a look at that storm west of Brownsville. We can head over to Max 1 real quick. Mo?
Absolutely. So but right now we've got, again, the main low pressure center that's just to the west of the Mississippi River. That's going to continue to track eastward. We still have cells, notice, developing in better instability down to the south here with that activity that continues to work its way in our general direction here. For us. I do want to make a correction on the picture I showed you all. The name is not correct on exactly who took that photo, but that did confirm the damage that occurred up in Rutherford, and we'll get the latest information out for you as soon as possible as to the nature or whoever took the photo. Either way, it confirmed what we were trying to find out about at the time, and that was the important point at that point.
Mo, real quick, from the National Weather Service, have they said that they had anything new about, that storm, the one heading into Humboldt right now, if they think it's got any chance of producing a tornado? I know they canceled the tornado warning, but I just figured they would maybe explain why they canceled that warning, I thought.
I do know that we're seeing some additional damage elsewhere, which we'll discuss that off air here coming up in just a bit. But there is some additional damage that we'll be taking a quick look at, and of course, and we'll take a look at that and confirm where that was located. And
are you talking about from the first storm?
Yes, this is still from the first storm, I believe. But we'll get that all confirmed and figure out who did what and get who credit to whatever, who needs to be credited to whatever. But at this point, we just need to get the right information to the right people, and that's what's important right now.
Yeah, okay. We got this new storm that we're watching near Brownsville. We're going to start to focus a little bit on that one as the storm, give me a second, as the storm moving through Gibson County right now does not look overly impressive on the radar as far as a tornado threat. All right, Brett, there it is, Mo. All right, as I'm focusing in on it, brand new severe thunderstorm warning is out for this one, which is heading into the Brownsville area. I'm going to get the verbiage on that warning. We figured that was coming. All right, this one says severe thunderstorm warning for Crockett, Gibson, Haywood, Madison. That's out till 2 p.m. This storm will impact Jackson, areas north of Jackson. They have Jackson under this warning, according to the National Weather Service. I don't get that, but sure. Anyway, Brownsville, Humboldt, Milan, Trenton also is in this new warning. So they're thinking this one may impact northern sections of Madison County, but stay just north of Jackson. They have Jackson listed, but I don't think Jackson goes that far north on 45, but we're not here for a geography lesson. So, all right, let's do a quick recap here. All right, so there's our storm moving, heading for Gibson right now. It's just north of Humboldt. If there was a little bit of rotation, it's right here. This storm is just north of 70, and it is tracking off to the east. Again, we got this little inflow notch here, but when we look deep inside the storm, we see very little rotation. That's why it's not a tornado warning. That's why it's a severe thunderstorm warning for that cell, which is just north of Humboldt right now, as it is heading for Milan. So closer look inside that storm, not a lot of reds. We just see greens, which is particles moving towards the radar. If we had some reds in here moving away, we'd be a little bit more concerned that there was some low-level rotation. But looks like this is just going to be a wind threat as it moves up to the northeast. But new severe thunderstorm warning out for Atwood with this storm. Again, maybe some hail northwest of Gibson. That might be hail approaching 104, about 5 miles east of Trenton. So if you can get your vehicle in the garage or anything, stay away from the windows there. All right, here's our latest severe thunderstorm warning. Just popped up in the last couple minutes northwest of Brownsville. A little bit of rotation with this between Brownsville and Oakview. So that's kind of how the last storm started out. As this one moves up to the northeast, may also become an issue for places like Bells. I think the rotation on this one stays south of Humboldt. I think it'll be awful close to Bells. So you notice as each one of these new storms comes in, they're going to be a little bit further south than the next one. But each one of these little cells is trying to rotate and produce its own little tornado. So we're right there, maybe some even hail northwest of Brownsville as this one moves off to the northeast. But severe thunderstorm warning out till 2 p.m. for Crockett, Gibson, Haywood counties, and Madison County as well. So here's the big picture again. Once this line passes you, your severe weather threat is done. But if you're still east of this line, like us here in Jackson, Henderson, Lexington, you are still going to be dealing with this storm threat tonight. Mo, you want to take a quick look at Max 1, little analysis inside that storm? I'm going to set a couple things up on 2.